Hello folks, we are back once again. We are outside of Alpine, just coming into the Viejas Indian Reservation. We're looking to get onto Viejas Road. Supposed to be some gravel roads that just wander around out here. So we're in the reservation now. I've never been here, so we're actually starting the video before we get on the gravel, so we'll see how it goes. You know, it's always a gamble. You don't know what these roads are going to turn out to be. Sometimes they're winners, and sometimes it's a locked gate situation. So you pretty much have to spend the time and come out here and see for yourself, because you can't really get accurate conditions of what the deal is online. Not too many people leave reviews on any of these dirt site places, so you pretty much have to just do your own investigation. This isn't far from me. It's about 25 miles outside of area. Today's not too hot, so it's sort of comfortable. The past couple days have been really warm, in the 90s, but it's a typical 75-degree San Diego day today. It's the Viejas Fire Department. Here's our road here, Viejas Grade. I believe this road will wind into Esquencio. This particular gravel road is only listed to be like 9 miles long, but we'll see. I mean, say that the pavement ends, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. Now we're on to some dirt. This is the official dirt part of Viejas Road. Once again, I'm not sure if people live off this road or whether this is just a thoroughfare. So far, we'll see. I see trailers here and there, so this is hard-packed dirt. It's pretty smooth compared to some of the last roads that we've been on that were like washboard. Last weekend we were up in Ramona. We did the Black Canyon Trail. This is right off Freeway 8 in Alpine. There's people that live out here. This is reservation country. I think there's a casino out here, you know. Not sure if we'll run into any other dirt bikers or what. to have a selection of dirt roads so close. And like I said, this is only like 25 miles outside of San Diego, so it's pretty close. You don't have to trailer bikes. Private residency there. It's a nice house on the top. They got a nice view. Now lately my camera has been doing like weird things, like for whatever reason the video will just stop and it'll go to a black screen. I have no idea why it does that. If anybody knows, let me know. And I don't even know why sometimes... Keep out. Well, I'll keep out. And yeah, I don't even know why sometimes the video will end and it will start, and I didn't even end it. But when I go to download these videos, sometimes I'll see it like, I'll see 3 different videos, and I never intended to make 3 different videos. So I don't know why it does that. Now, I've never really read up thoroughly on this Sony action cam. I mean, I like the camera. The only drawback with these GoPros and these action cams is there's never any viewfinder, so you don't know what you're really seeing until you download it. Now I have a monitor, like a wrist monitor, that shows you what you see, and that's what I use to start and stop the unit, so I don't have to take my helmet off and go through all of that kind of crap. But it's a learning curve, as everything else electronic is. Now the road is starting to get a little choppy. We got some washboard crap going on, so it loosens your fillings. Now you see we're gaining altitude. I'm going to pull over up here and you'll see what I'm talking about. I turn my head this way. Right down there in the valley is Alpine. We're like 2,200, maybe 2,500 feet here. We're back in the Flintstone Rocky Hill kind of country. Looks like a movie set. And this road is continually climbing. The map shows this road going east into Descanso. I did send away for my typo maps for my Garmin, so as soon as I get that, I'm going to try to use that more and I'm forcing myself to learn it. You know, I sort of resist electronic gadgets. I just want someone to show me how to do it, you know. I guess that's being lazy, but... And it cracks me up, when you buy something these days, you don't even get a real manual. You just get a link, and then you have to download it. It's like, really? But fortunately, there's a lot of good... Well, not a lot, but there are some fairly decent instructional videos on YouTube explaining the Garmin Montana. And I know it's not really that difficult, but and it has like so many features that I'll never even use, but I just wanted a unit that was decent enough for off-roading and to be able to upload tracks, and it's a pretty rugged unit. It also is adaptable for marine use. You can take it on a boat, which is pretty cool. But like I said, I just have to break down and use it. I've had some people actually off of Facebook give me some heads up, some pointers. Because like today I just have my phone with Google Maps, and when you go on these roads, most of the time you lose signal. So I mean, you know, your phone is useless. This is a nice little ride. I don't know if this is still a reservation. Sometimes it feels actually good just to stand up. Gives your butt a break. Definitely gives you more control over these ruts. And I put oversized foot pegs on this bike. The stock pegs are garbage, so that helps. Via Arturo Road. I'm going to stay on the Viejas Grade because that's, when I looked on the maps, that's the road that goes into Descanso. I didn't feel like going way up to Ramona and Julian area today, although there is another spot up there that I want to go to. There's a rock shop that I want to go and visit because I love rocks and minerals. I actually like finding them myself, but right at this time of the year, it's really too hot to be out in the desert. So my own rock hounding is going to wait till next winter. And most of those places, like where the old mines and where you can find gems and minerals are, they're not just a day ride away. I mean, they take a few hours to get there, but it's the kind of thing where I want to like go for a weekend and throw the bike on the trailer and actually camp on some VML land or something. Got a bunch of private residences around here. Those people have those little toy ponies. I wouldn't mind living off a dirt road like this. Some people they get annoyed by it, but the further away from suburbia, the better for me. Because out here, pretty much people leave you alone. living in a development, you have all the crazy rules and regulations. Oh, now we go back to paved roads, so I don't know if what the deal is here. So we're going to see what happens. That was, I don't know if that's it for the, we'll see. We'll see. If that's all the dirt there is, it's a short distance, and there's nothing too hard about it. Very easy. On the map that I saw on gravel.com or whatever the site is, it doesn't always say what the conditions of the road are, whether it's paved or not. I'm gonna follow this a ways and see if it doesn't get any more dirt or not. If not, I would still rather go back on this road than go out to 8, because it was about 16-17 miles just to get out to Alpine on 8, and that's the quickest way. But I really don't like riding this bike on the freeway. I mean, it'll do highway speeds, don't get me wrong, but this is still a small bike. Now there is a trail, but these are all private people's roads or whatever, and I don't. But here again, you know, you just don't know until you come out here. Definitely horse country. They look like awful small pens for horses. Those cruisers, I don't know if those cruisers are going to go all through the dirt, although they wouldn't really have any problem. It was not a four-wheel drive kind of dirt road at all, so they won't have any problem. We're in Scanzio now, so it looks like there's not going to be too much left. There's not really any more dirt around here. I'm actually going to turn around because I don't want to go out to 8 to go back. It says Descanzio is about 3,100 feet of altitude, so I guess that's good to know. Yeah, that was the only part of dirt that there was. So I'll take you back, and we'll end when the dirt ends again. I actually thought it was going to be more I said, some of these roads are not really accurately described. But this is a nice little road. This is a great road. It's got a lot of twisty action going on. This would be good on a street bike. I mean, I have okay fun with it on this bike, but I mean, you know, a bike with knobby tires is not exactly ideal to carve out the twists with. Although these knobs are not super aggressive knobs, I had some other knobby tires that aren't even DOT. I really bought them by mistake. I thought they were DOT tires. Now I'll still want to use them because you can't really return tires once they're mounted and everything. They're really great off-road, so I am going to keep them. And next winter when I do some prospecting where I'm putting the bike on the trailer to go to these places to Rockhound and Pickwick, I'll put those tires on this bike and they'll work out pretty well. And don't ask me what they are, I forget the names of them. But they have a pretty aggressive knobby tread, and they're pretty much more like medium hard pack. They're not really suited for sand, but like medium hard. I used them one weekend on where was I? Oh, I think it's when I was in Quartzsite. I had them on when I was in Quartzsite, but that was all off-road. They did pretty good. I recently got another tire, Schenko. I forget what particular number it is, but it was so cheap I thought I'd give it a try, and they have excellent reviews. I have a Dunlop 605 on my rear now, and it's wearing as fast as like when I had the Dunlop 606, which is a very popular dirt tire. It's a good tire, but when you're like me, I have to do a fair amount of pavement riding because I ride to the dirt. It really chews up your tread life. You don't get. Now we're back on the gravel. You don't get the life that you really want. And I like to get more than 3,000 miles out of the tire, if possible. But it looks like I'm only going to get close to that with this 605. If somebody could make an off-road tire that would give you like street tire mileage, that would make you rich. It's every dirt bike person's dream to have knobs that last more than 3,000 miles. But supposedly this Schenko tire, well, that's a pretty view. Lasts longer, so we'll see. I'll let you know about that in the future. That's a nice view there. No campfires. like I said, this was pretty close to my house, so it doesn't really bother me that this wasn't really that long of any kind of adventure. On the other hand, if I have to like ride over an hour to get to a location like this, and then it turns out to be so short, it's like, really? Are you kidding me? The longest dirt trail that's near me is the Otay Truck Trail, because that's 20 some miles, and there's a lot of tributaries, there's a lot of stuff like off the main, and I haven't gone on all of this stuff even off the main, so I mean that's real close to me, so I'm sort of fortunate that that's in my backyard. There are other roads that are even longer than that, but they're not super close. Some are further north, like northeast of LA, like up in Big Bear or Lake Arrowhead area up there. And I don't really want to ride my bike all the way up there. That would be like, 3 hours. By the time you got there, your ass would be numb. So that's definitely a trailer trip, and it's a trip to incorporate some kind of camping. Now that around Lake Arrowhead or up around there is probably doable at this time of the year, because it's in the mountains. It's not really desert, so it's not severely hot. And there's a few OHV areas up around there. There's really a lot. Southern California has a lot of trails to explore. So does Arizona. All the western states are pretty good. Much better than the East Coast. Although where I was in western North Carolina and northern Georgia, that's pretty good for off-road also. That's not bad. The Northeast is nothing to speak of. About the only stuff you have is, well, Jersey's got the Pine Barrens, but that's all that sugar sand shit. I had my fill of that when I had my KLR. See, that's the valley down there. From here you can actually see I-8. That's why I didn't want to drive all the way over to I-8 and go that way. I'd rather putz around on this kind of a road any day than freeway. I don't really like freeways. That's more street bike stuff. And then when I had my street bike, it was dangerous because it was so easy. You'd look down and oh shit, you were going 90 miles an hour and you're like, why is everybody going so slow? But it's only because it was like that bike was effortlessly, I mean, if you just leaned on the throttle, you were, 75, 80, and the Bandit would cruise really nice at about 90 miles an hour. Like every bike has a sweet spot. Now this bike is small, it's only a 350, so its sweet spot is more like 50 miles an hour. I push it, I make it go 65, 70, but you can tell that it's like, its tongue is starting to hang out. As in any 250 bike, they'll do what people claim is highway speeds, but let's face it, they're not really happy at that. Where on my Bandit, it was like no effort. But I mean, you know, you're dealing with a lot more horsepower. You got a 4-cylinder inline motor that just cranks it out. I like that bike. I like that bike because it's not a crotch rocker, so you're not laying down on the bike, so it doesn't hurt your back. I would definitely get another Bandit. I've had a bunch of them. I know I've talked about these bikes before. I would really love to find a 400 Bandit, but they're hard to find in the States. Almost everybody in the States wants big bikes. But I rode a 400 once, and that little bike is really, let's just say I was able to keep up with all of the other 600s that I rode with. It was really, I mean, to this day, if I found another one, I'd have to buy it because I liked it that much. I've had 2 other Bandits, 600s. I'm not a real fan of the 1200s. I personally don't need a leader bike. But Suzuki made some, well, they still do make some excellent engines. And I know a lot of Bandit owners that have 100,000 miles on their Bandit, and they have done nothing but just, you know, periodic maintenance. Those are bulletproof engines. Awesome, awesome bikes. The Katanas are good also. Basically the same engine. Those inline 4s, even though they're carbureted, the carburetors, if you don't let the gas get moldy and gross, they'll stay fairly in sync and in tune for a long time. But a lot of times you can find Bandits, but they need a carb clean. If you don't do it yourself, that can get expensive. You can easily spend $400 to $500 on a carb rebuild. I rebuilt 4 carbs, and if you take your time, it's not a difficult thing. But not everybody has the patience or the know-how to clean and rebuild carbs. It's not hard. Tons of videos online that will show you how to rebuild almost any mile of any carb, whether it's a single, a dual carb. There's even 3 carbs. Show you how to bench sync them and how to hook up the vacuum units so that they're all in sync with one another. It's not a big deal. If I was ever in cold climate, which I don't anticipate going back to any cold climate, fuel injection is definitely the way to go. Those carbureted bikes, especially old Japanese carbureted bikes, they're all really cold-blooded. They're not the kind of thing where you can jump on, start it, and go. If your bike is tuned properly and you ride it often enough, then you might be lucky that it will start fairly soon. But most of those bikes have to idle for a while to warm up, otherwise they just bog right down. Here in Southern California, it never really gets that cold that it's an issue. But I'm talking, you know, if you're back east or somewhere where it's snow country, old carbureted bikes can be a challenge. I had a carbureted bike. I had it on my